Coming up on today's show.
When spring kind of hits, for me, it's like New Year's almost. You know, it's this time of renewal and rebirth, and I really have the urge to kind of get outside.
I just know that if I do that many projects, I need to have a barbecue to make myself happy, okay?
Once the weather starts to get a little bit nicer, it's a good time to open that garage up and start getting it cleaned out.
10 spring projects to make your home and heart happy today on Keeping You Organized. Well, hello and welcome to Keeping You Organized. Today we're going to get into some spring projects. We're going to do these so that we can make your heart and your home happy. And when I think of happy, you know who I think about? I think of Maria Grazia from Get Organized Now. Maria, welcome to Keeping You Organized.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, well, listen, I'm wondering, how do we make our home and our heart happy? What's the end picture look like on that anyway?
You know, when spring kind of hits, for me, it's like New Year's almost. You know, it's this time of renewal and rebirth, and I really have the urge to kind of get outside and do the things that we've been neglecting all winter long. So the result in the end would be to have a whole bunch of projects done, so you can be sitting in the backyard and having a barbecue with your family or whatnot, doing something fun afterwards. So we just want to get your house spiffed up, the outside of your garden area spiffed up, maybe your walkway, etc. And there's always 10 projects that I focus on year after year.
Well, 10's a nice number. I just know that if I do that many projects, I need to have a barbecue to make myself happy, okay? So, well, let's dig into them because that's a lot of material to cover. How about what's project number one?
Yeah, project number one, we kind of start with the garage. That's not quite all the way outside, but once the weather starts to get a little bit nicer, it's a good time to open that garage up and start getting it cleaned out. And we don't do it all at once. You know, we're talking about 10 spring projects here. So we just divide it. We do maybe a little bit each weekend, specific time in the morning, get them done, and then enjoy the rest of the day. So as far as the garage, we might go in there. My husband always puts this tarp on the floor during the winter because it's snowy out and all the slush lands on it. We finally have pulled that out of the garage and got that all cleaned up. So there was a whole bunch of debris on our floor that we swept all out this weekend. And this coming weekend, we're going to be going through our old solvents and all that kind of stuff that's sitting up on the shelves and get that all organized. We're going to put the snowblower away, maybe take some of the gardening stuff out. So kind of like putting winter away and bringing spring and summer into the garage, you know, and maybe you might put some of the winter stuff up by the rafters. Maybe you might want to put it over to the side, but kind of just putting winter away for a while so we could focus on spring.
Well, you know, in my house, we call that the changeover day. It happens once in the spring. And so you know winter is over when the snowblower moves and the lawnmower takes the dominant spot. You know, I have to add my own tip here because I bought a tool a couple of years ago that I absolutely love. And it is one of those, it's a leaf blower, but it's a battery operated one. It is great for cleaning out the garage because you get the leaves and all the dust in there. So that is a must-have tool in my mind.
Absolutely. The other tool that I really like for the garage is we got one of those organizers to hold all of our long-handled tools. You know, clippers that you use for the hedges and our big broom that we sweep the garage out with and all that kind of stuff. This way it's not all just tossed here, there, and everywhere. It's in one corner. And it's easy to grab, and it's out of reach if a kid manages to get into the garage or whatnot. So.
Now, I can imagine your garage is probably like one of those showroom ones where everything is just... Now, I always love to have that, you know, where people have the exact spot for the rake, and you know what's missing because it's off there, but I don't know. That's sometimes a little hard to reach that kind of level. So
yeah, you know, and I don't think people really need to reach that kind of level. It's more just kind of know where things are. We kind of have zones in our garage. So we have a zone where we keep the bikes. You know, we have a bike rack on the wall, and we have a zone for the gardening stuff. Like, we don't have gardening stuff all over the place.
All right. Well, let's move on to project number 2. I feel good about the garage now.
Okay, so the next thing we do is we go outside and we put on our detective hats because it's really important to inspect the house for anything that may have happened over the winter. So you might want to check your gutters, which is never fun, but it's a good time to do it. Get all those old leaves out from last fall or all that kind of stuff. We may inspect the driveway and the walkway for any kind of cracks that may have happened. Check anything that maybe check the lawn furniture to see if it's still in good condition, if it made it through the winter, check if the plants are coming back or not. So we kind of just go around the house with a little clipboard and just make an inventory of things that we have to kind of be on top of and maybe have to be replaced or checked or repaired. And and we don't actually do anything that first day. We kind of write everything down and we're like, oh, that didn't make it, but at least we know then what has to be done, and then we can tackle that list one by one.
Now, do you just go out with a blank piece of paper, or do you have like a little checklist of things to look at?
I go out with I just go out with my clipboard because I have a pretty good idea in my head of what we're going to have to do. Right. But you could, certainly it's, if you want to go out there with a checklist that says, gutters and shutters and roof and all that kind of stuff, that might make it a little bit easier year to year.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. So that we've got 2 down. How about number 3?
Okay, so number 3 is we have certain items that might have to be serviced in the spring and summer. So, and we do have a list of those items. One of those items is the lawnmower. We want to make sure the lawnmower is in good working condition. The blades are sharp. It's running properly, because that grass is already growing in front of my house. And I don't know, we're kind of in between winter and spring here in Wisconsin. But so that's one of the items we get checked. The air conditioner. I cannot live without air conditioning in the summer. So we get that serviced every spring. I know it's not usually hot enough to put it on in many areas of the country, but when the day comes that it is hot enough to put it on, it's kind of nice to have that taken care of. We may have the chimney, cleaned out and stuff like that too. So anything that needs to be serviced, it's a good time to either get it on your calendar to do it, or to call a repair service and get them get an appointment with them.
Yeah, well, a friend of mine is a heating and air conditioning guy. And again, using my battery-operated leaf blower, I go out to that outside air conditioning unit. I first of all blow it with that and get any dust and stuff. And then he says, just take a hose and hose that thing out just to kind of keep it clean. It really helps with efficiency.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, we're going to get into more of the 10 spring projects that make your heart and home happy. And we'll be right back. Now there's a place just for you. Life can be busy, and you still have to keep it all together. That's why you like to be organized and in control. Introducing MyOrganized.life, a special place where you can get ideas and solutions to organize what's important to you, your important papers, your important decisions, your important life events. We show you the ideas and products to stay organized in your life. See what's new. Stop by and say hello. Visit us at any time at www.myorganized.life. It's just for you. MyOrganized.life by Smead. Find us at www.myorganized.life. MyOrganized.life. We're back now on Keeping You Organized, talking about the 10 spring projects that make your heart and home happy. And we like to be happy around here. And we have Maria Gracia from Get Organized Now. Maria, okay, so we've gone through the first 3. 10's it's a big list, but we're going to, I'm still counting on that barbecue that we're going to have when we finish all 10. I don't care if it has to happen in August, but I want a reward for getting through these projects. But these are all not like huge projects. They're good things to really get done in the spring. So let's move on to number 4.
Yep, number 4. Okay, we're going to come back in the house, and we are going to get our washer and dryer cleaned out. The washing machine, even though we wash our clothes in it all the time, it tends to get really grimy, like around the rim of the washing machine and where the detergent dispenser is and all that. So what I like to do is I like to run a wash cycle without any clothes in it. You can either do this with adding some bleach to the water and running a hot cycle. I kind of like to do the white vinegar instead, and baking soda. I'll put in like a cup of vinegar, white vinegar, and a cup of baking soda, and just run it on the hottest cycle. And when the drum kind of fills up with water right before it goes into the rest of the cycle, the spin cycle and all that, I actually take a rag and use the water and kind of wipe around the rim. And you really have to scrub it out sometimes, but it's a good time to do it. I also take the softener dispenser that really gets caked with if you're using blue softener or whatever kind of softener, it just gets caked with that stuff. So I sometimes will take a pair of chopsticks, like a disposable, and kind of get in there and get all the grime out, and then really wipe it out really well, close the washer up, have it complete the cycle. And while that cycle is completing, I will wash the top of the washer off. And in the meantime, I'll get to the dryer at the same time, make sure the lid trap is cleaned out really well, etc. And then after that's all done, I might go outside and make sure the lid trap outside of the house, the, what do you call it? The little pipe thing?
Yeah, the exhaust vent, I think that's what it is. Gets
caked with lint. So we'll go out there and we'll get all that out, and then the washer and dryer are good, and no danger of a dryer fire or anything like that. So,
those are great tips. And I think it's really good to do that in the spring too, rather than doing that in the middle of winter when you're out there trying to make things happen if you have issues. So, all right, well, that brings us to number 5.
So number 5, I don't know about you, but spring really makes me want to get out there and plant things. Now, some people say I'm not a gardener, I'm not going to plant anything, but I really like to get out there. I might plant some flowers in front of the house. Arbor Day is coming. We may want to plant another tree. And for people that don't have large yards or, a lot of space, you can maybe do some container gardening. So plant some fresh herbs for the summer. We've done a lot of vegetables in a lot of containers on our deck in the past. It's just kind of a fun way to kind of get outside, feel like you're doing something nice for your landscape or whatnot, and you have something fresh to eat if you're going to do herbs or veggies or something like that.
Nice. Well, great. Well, listen, I'm looking at our clock here, and I know we're not going to get all 10 in this episode. So what I want to do is invite you back next time, and we'll do the second 5. Are you up for that?
Sounds great.
Well, listen, before we go, let's talk a little bit about getorganizednow.com. What can people find when they come there, and just tell us a little bit about the site.
Yep. Okay. When anybody comes to my site, we immediately offer free goodies on the site. So you can get a free newsletter. You can get a ton of free organizing reports on clutter control, time management, even weight loss. We kind of have gotten into that a little bit. And just sign up for our newsletter, and they'll get a weekly e-zine that we send out. It's filled with tips. We have checklists and challenges, and we have social media groups and all that good stuff. So just a way to kind of keep you free, free of clutter, free of your crazy schedule, free to reach your goals and to spend time with your family and to have those barbecues during the summer, of course. So
great. Well, now in order to do the barbecue, we got to get the other 5 projects done, which in order to get those done, we got to come out and find out what they are. So folks, come back next time. We'll do the last 5 on our next edition of Keeping You Organized.